Hello everybody and welcome back to Cities Skylines 2, where we have a few traffic jams brewing up that I'd like to take a bit of a look at here at the beginning of this game, or rather the beginning of this episode. So we've got this one here, we've got one off over here, one up here, which may or may not be real, we'll look at that in a moment, and then one up here. I want to start here, and we can take a quick peek at what's going on here. I am not convinced that this traffic jam is real. No, I don't think that this one is real. I think this is just a lot of people entering the city at this intersection, but this isn't actually a significant slowdown, so I'm not too concerned about this one. Next up, we had one here. That appears to no longer be flagged as a traffic jam. Okay. For the time being, I would argue that this is a traffic jam. We'll come back to it since it's not currently flagged. Okay, this one down over here. Absolutely, this is a jam. So what do we have going on here exactly? Everybody just wants to be in that inner lane, I think. This is more lane changing issues than anything, I suspect. Like, I don't know what this guy's doing. He just completed moving into this lane here. Why is he just sitting here? I don't know. And this? Yeah. That's not an us problem, in my opinion. That's a pathfinding issue. So let's just get these left turns forbidden here. Problem number one. Problem number two, left turns up over here. Getting rid of these won't fix this problem, but they might help it a little bit. We'll do the same down here. Again, this is definitely not going to fix the problem. Ultimately, oh, we're seeing a lot of despawns here. That actually might fix the problem. Okay, so we'll move on from that for the moment. And the question then becomes, what about the one that was out over here? Here it is. Okay, this is one of those situations that we could argue a bypass for the right-hand turns might make sense. So let's think about putting in, say, one right up over here. That's apparently sloped too steep, which is mildly remarkable. Okay, what if we were to put it somewhere over this way? I guess that is a pretty significant slope. So what if we were to bring it in out over here? We could do that. Okay, so that would end up working, and then we could bring one up over here. Now, this is not necessarily going to fix the issue, right? And that's understood. That's sloped too steep as well. Fascinating. Okay. That is going to be a pretty significant slope, no doubt about that. So one thing we could think about doing... Yeah, I don't see a way around that. However, just this one might be a significant improvement. We can say no left turn here. And then beyond that... Oh, no left turn here either. There we go. Beyond that, anyone who's trying to go this direction can just head and bypass like this. That will reduce some of the strain on this roundabout. We'll see if it's enough, but that will get some of this traffic moving, hopefully. But again, it's a pathfinding issue. So, none of these are being flagged as traffic issues anymore. We can hop up over this direction for sure. The game runs so much better. I mean, it's still not great, but it runs so much better when we're not simulating. Okay, noted. That's not shocking, necessarily. So taking a look at what we've got going on here, there's an argument to be made that we need an additional lane here. Like a dedicated merge lane. So we could do that. It would result in a slowdown due to the options that we have available. So a dedicated merge lane would end up looking something kind of like that, and then it would merge in, just giving them a little bit of time to choose when to merge in, right? And it looks like this is currently being controlled by a traffic light, which is definitely not what we would want. So no traffic light here, no crosswalk here either. Okay, so something kind of like that. Why are you parked here? They're just trying to merge into the far lane? I'll be honest, I don't know why they're trying to do that. They shouldn't. This is more like the behavior that we should be seeing. Okay. So now that they've had time to update, maybe, that's working a little bit better. They should just merge over when they have a chance to. But otherwise, they have a dedicated lane. So that'll be reasonably fine there. Hopefully, that will... Hopefully, they'll stop doing this nonsense. That would be nice. For sure. Now, I would like to have a dedicated turn lane over here. So one thing we could do for that is we could simply... Not that. We could simply purchase this tile. So that would give us the ability to put in a dedicated lane here. What that ends up meaning, of course, is we would take this to a 2-lane, 2-way highway, or actually a 4-lane, 2-way highway, and that would end up being something kind of like this. So now we have a dedicated turn lane and a dedicated merge lane over here. So once they work their way around figuring out where they're going here, they should start to merge over this way. And we can have this merge be significantly longer. Something kind of like that. Just to give them more time to move over. And once they get that sorted, yeah, this is going to be a problem for a little bit because most people do want to take this exit. So that is going to be a problem for a bit here. I don't really like this going down in speed limit, but we don't really have an option because there's no such thing as a 6-lane, 2-way highway. Unfortunately. There's a 5-lane, 1-way highway, but there is no 6-lane, 2-way highway. Which is sad. No doubt about it. But I do expect that this will start to clean this up a little bit. So that is relatively good. Looking at other potential traffic jams, we see one... Or actually, that's not a traffic jam. That's an accident. There is a jam out over this direction. So what do we have going on here right now? Well, there's a left turn that is a problem here. That may alleviate things somewhat, but mostly I think it's lane changes that is the problem here. People attempting to exit here from this lane for some reason. I don't know why they're trying to do that, but they are. This is a straight only lane, so don't do that. That's the answer, is don't do that. For now, of course, this is slowly working its way through. Very slowly. Very, very slowly. Yeah. It's not going great because of things like this guy, just sitting there parked. Not even trying to lane change, just parking. Okay. There's not a lot we can do about that. That is just an issue with the pathfinding. It's just not very good at this. So there's not a lot to be done there. We could take this up to additional lanes. So that would end up meaning this would go to a 6-lane road and would happen about here. That's slope too steep, apparently. I mean, fair enough, but if we were to take this out and rebuild it, would it still be slope too steep? That's the question we need to ask right now. So that would end up being attaching in about here. So that shows up as slope too steep. Okay. So what if we were to take this back and we were to take it to 6-lane here? So that would end up being, I want to snap this to angle. We would drop a pillar here, and then we would need to drop one right here, and then this would have to go down about like this. That's a 27% grade. So it's a little surprising we were able to build this in the first place. But I think what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to take this down in a larger, or rather a smaller elevation step. So we're going to have to do something like this, bringing this road over to be, where are you? Sure, I guess that'll do. Bringing this road over this way, snapping to angle only, and then bringing this down to whatever the smallest elevation step is that we can here. 8.75 is the answer there. But what if we were to bring this down to 7.5 here?
Please exercise caution if you must
And then
drive and try to stay off
8.75
the streets
here.
until conditions improve.
And then
This
back
has
up
been
to
a
10
local
out
public
over this
service
way.
announcement.
That does save us about 2% on the grade.
J. Thomas Hornbuckle.
Okay.
And we're pervading some of the finest classical music on the air. Keep that
Noted.
dial.
I'm just
Thank you.
keeping an eye on this here. I think that our best bet at this point is going to be to remove this,
But apparently that's not all good
take these
news.
sections
We're
out,
joined today by an expert guest, Professor
upgrade
Knopfler.
this. I want snapping on, please.
So a housing shortage is
Okay,
bad
something
for
like that. In
people
fact, we could
trying
just
to move
delete
in, right?
that. That might not be the worst idea. And then using the straight line tool, we would bring this guy in from not there exactly. About here. Okay, so then that would be somewhere up over here, hopefully. Yes, we're able to get that in. Okay, and then this would be taken out to be, I don't like it here. I guess about here, but that's not actually connected.
Thank you,
We can't
Professor.
snap this to where we want it to be. Okay, so we're just going to have to bring the highway in via highway and then upgrade it after the fact,
The
I
commercial
think.
district is booming as the
So that
area
means
is
bringing
attracting
this guy
more
in up over
high-end
here.
stores, bringing the latest in
That is
luxury
sloped
to
too
our
steep
neighborhood.
there. At a
You can now
10%
shop
grade,
for
that doesn't
designer
feel too
shoes
steep
while
at all.
sipping a fancy local Jarva
This is only a
latte
4% grade.
or
It's out on
semi-white
this
chocolate.
side
That's
that
good
the
for
slope
business
becomes too
and
steep.
Good for the
Okay.
community.
Thanks, Jim. We'll be back after.
Well, this is definitely a complicated one. No doubt about that. But I want to bring this in up over here. Slope too steep on this side still. So we have to take this out. And then extend this to be simply, like, here. That didn't actually build anything, though. So that would be about here or so. Then we bring our highway over. Like that. That is heading down quite a lot. I don't actually want it to head down. I want it to be merging up over here, though. So that is problematic, right? No doubt about that. I want this to be merging up this direction, and we should be able to get there. There was a spot where we were able to build this previously. So I think we have to take this back out and then build this up over this way, right? There was definitely a spot where it was allowing us to do this. No doubt about that. And where was that spot? Well, I guess what we can do is we can bring this up to, eventually, 20 meters. So something like that. And then we can attempt to bring this in. Oh, I see what it's doing. It's just a really sharp drop-off there. Okay, that's probably the issue. Okay, let's get that to a regular elevation step. And let's just bring this in over here. 18% grade is slope too steep. 17% grade from 17% grade, but it's only overlapping items. What items are we overlapping? It's the road is the answer. So I don't actually want this to be dipping down the way it is here. It's trying to follow the terrain there, right? And I just want this to be... It's because of this pillar movement. Oh, I see what it's doing. I don't know why it's doing that, but it was trying to move the pillar to be right on the road there. Very strange. Very strange behavior indeed. So let's grab this here. And we want to bring this out only on angle snap to be like right here. Okay. Now we want it to come down at a relatively hefty grade. That's giving us about a 20% grade. Which is still coming back as slope too steep. Which isn't shocking, given everything that we've got going on here, right? However, we could elevate this up, which I think is going to be our next best thing that we can do. So we would grab this here and elevate it up to about 20 meters. Right about there. And then we would take that through to about, I want this to be angle snap only, please. About right here. And then it can merge in over here. So that'll end up being a merge in approximately there or so. I mean, I don't necessarily love what we've got going on with this merge in here, but it's probably fine-ish. Okay, now the question is, now that we have that, can we bring this guy in here? That slope too steep at an 18% grade. That feels really close. Okay. That feels incredibly close. So I'll bring this up to 20 meters here. It allows us to build it here. That's only a 16% grade. Okay. 18.7. Wait a sec. Is returning a grade 2 steep here, even at 16%? Yeah, I realize we've got this down over here. But I'm just keeping an eye on what we've got going on here. Okay. There's got to be a way to do this. We did it before. There almost certainly is a way to do it again. So we could try putting in a roundabout here, which of course is a little off-center, but we can manipulate the position of that roundabout. And then we can bring in this 6-lane road and see what would happen. Okay, we can't actually manipulate it over that far. Noted. So what if we were to just try to join this up over here? That is a doable thing. That is definitely doable. So that would end up being up over here. This is not, I think, exactly the directionality we want it to be. No, I think it is, actually, looking at it. So that would end up going in like that. Then we would put in our roundabout, although that gives a slope too steep here. Which is sad. Okay. We may want to do this a different way. Make this be a non-standard intersection. That's what I'm leaning towards right now, actually. So what that would end up looking like is we would have this be a 4-lane, 2-way highway, and this would just look to connect up over this way. So we would want this to be at around, well, let's make this be snap only to angle, please. I'd like to have it be somewhere up here. And then that would just merge in like that. And then this, we would have not actually intersect. It would go underneath. And that would be slope too steep right there. But I would like this to go sufficiently underneath. We're going to need to take this back to about here. And that would end up coming in somewhere around here or so. Going underneath to about here. Although that's giving us overlapping items due to the pillar there. Gotcha. So that would end up coming in about to here or so. I want this to snap only to angle. And then we'd look to connect it back up somewhere up over here, right? And that slope too steep, obviously, but we can knock this guy back and we can see about bringing this in. There's a lot of very awkward slopes going on here, no doubt about it. Well, one thing we can do for now is we can just pass this highway over and get our ramps set up. Because this is going to use, like, our standard on-off ramps, right? So this is going to end up being a connection that would be somewhere around here. So that would be about there or so. And then this would be coming off and coming in around here or so. That's all slope too steep. Okay, let's try this back here. Man, these slopes are intense over here. No doubt about it. This is a very, very intense slope. So next, we would look to maybe get this guy set up. Coming up over here. That's a 40% grade. Yeah, I don't know that this is a viable option either. Okay, so if that's not a viable option, then the only really viable option is that we just look to take this up, right? And we look to merge this in here. And then we look to merge this in up over here. Like that. And then we would look to put in this roundabout. That gives us slope too steep on both sides here, which is very awkward indeed. We can take this out and look to put this guy back in. Sure. So that would go there. And then we just merge this in right here, right? And then merge this in somewhere up here. Like that. So now the question is there a different level of slope required? Because we're back where we were. Is there a different level of slope required for doing this? It just works now. Okay, whatever. We'll take it. This is what I wanted to do in the beginning, but we couldn't do this. We're just adding the additional throughput in here, and it should be reasonably fine. We may want to take the 6-lane road all the way over to where these exits are. That probably makes the most amount of sense. That's kind of wild, though. And we definitely don't want left-hand turns here. We don't want the left-hand turn here or here. So that's all reasonably fine. No left-hand turn here either, if there is one. We also want to get rid of crosswalks. What? No left-hand turn forbidden. Get rid of crosswalks. There we go. Okay, we want to get rid of any crosswalks that exist up here. No crosswalks allowed. We're also probably going to need... Oh, no left-hand turn here, for sure. We're probably going to need to get rid of any stoplights that may exist in these areas. They do indeed. Okay. There we go. So that should bring these down to being uncontrolled at this point. Which is what we want. These aren't really intersections. Oh, there's a crosswalk right up over here. That needs to go. Okay. We'll see if that gets us through any better. That's really just brute forcing the problem, right? There's not a lot going on here other than that brute force. This got an additional left-hand turn at some point. Stop it. No left-hand turn allowed. Okay. Now, these lanes are not ideal. I would prefer that this be a dedicated turn lane and that this just be the two straightforward lanes. To that end, could we think about... Hang on. I want this to be 6-lane road in upgrade tool. That's a 4-lane road. 6-lane road in upgrade tool. Okay, let's bring this back down to the highway temporarily, because I want to change where these lanes actually are. So a 6-lane road would end up being... Well, we could actually... if we wanted it to be that way, it would end up being more like this, where we would have it go slightly beyond where these turnoffs are. So it would end up being like that. Maybe a little bit more, like that. Okay, so now we're going to need to say no crosswalks. Here. Here, here, here. I have no idea what's going on with the lanes here. I think they're okay, though. And no crosswalks over here. No crosswalks over here. No stoplight here. Okay. And this one looks relatively good, except no crosswalks in those locations. Just double checking these. Okay. That might help. Of course, down here, we're going to need to upgrade this to a large road as well. So that'll be something like that. No crosswalks. Thank you very much. And that gives us a dedicated turn lane, which is good. And that gives us more throughput up over here. We're going to have awkwardness still, but that may help matters. It's kind of wild that there's that much height differential there, but sure. We got there in the end. This was what I originally wanted to do, but we just couldn't do it with the height differential until it was rebuilt a bunch of times. I don't know why rebuilding it makes it work, but it does. It's very strange. No doubt about that. Well, that is all of our traffic jams allegedly fixed, according to the pop-ups. Anyway, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're probably going to look at expanding some of this area out over here, now that we have some of that traffic issue under control. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kentogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.